I want to welcome Agile XRM to the podcast. I've known the people at Agile XRM for the past 12 years. I've seen how their business process management tool can add massive value to complex organizational processes in sectors such as finance and government. If you have complex processes or a need for dialogues on the Power Platform or Dynamics 365, take a look at how this BPM tool can add value. You can find them at agilexrm.com or check out the show notes for more details. Welcome to the MVP Show. My intention is that you listen to the stories of these MVP guests and are inspired to become an MVP and bring value to the world through your skills. If you have not checked it out already, I do a YouTube series called How to Become an MVP. The link is in the show notes. With that, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is located in Spain. He is the founder and solution architect at Creativity Spark. He's first awarded as MVP in 2023. He works in different roles, primarily focused on designing and delivering systems based on the Microsoft business application platforms. You can find links to his bio and social media, etc. in the show notes for this episode. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on the show. Tell us a bit about food, family, and fun. And now, because I know you don't originate from where you live, also tell us a bit about where you come from.
Okay, so I'm currently based in Tarragona. It's a city 1 hour to the south of Barcelona in Spain, and I'm originally from Paraguay, South America. So I lived in different places in the world. And now I am based here. So family, food, and fun, right? Family, I have a rather big family. I have four kids. So they are from all ages. The youngest is 11 years old. Then I have a boy, 12, then 15, and 18 years old. So they keep me busy. And those teenage years are kind of they drive me crazy as well. But they're fantastic. So I live here in Tarragona with my partner as well, and loving it so far. Yeah. So do you have kids?
I do.
Yeah,
I do
great.
have an 18-year-old.
Oh, good.
I have an 18-year-old, and I have a 1-year-old and a almost 3-year-old.
Oh, so. Fantastic! Yeah. So you know the experience.
Yes. How did you end up in a city south of Barcelona? How did you end up there?
No, it's easy, right? I started this adventure of founding my own company, Creativity Spark, after the pandemic, right? And we relocated to Barcelona, and Barcelona is a great city. It's fantastic, vibrant, multiple nationalities living there, very touristic as well, and it's just too much, So there's this city which is not as big as Barcelona, but very handy. It's just 1 hour train from Barcelona. So company is based in the city, in the big city. So it kind of given that I'm working most of the time remotely, it makes sense for us, right? So it's a smaller place with everything you may need. It's close to the beach as well. So everything you need in a smaller place regarding rents and all of that is cheaper as well. So kind of handy and convenient for us. So that's why we started living in Barcelona at the beginning, and then we relocated to Tarragona. And you probably know Jordi Montana, the creator of FXRM Easy. He lives nearby as well. So we are kind of starting playing around with the idea of creating the Tarragona Power Platform community. So that's gonna happen soon. So yeah, that's more or less the story. Yeah.
What led you to leave Paraguay?
That was a long time ago, right? When I finished high school, um, my aunt was living in Spain at the moment, and I don't know. I always kind of was this type of itchy feet person, right? Trying to move everywhere, right? Trying to or liking to know places, and also my first thought was to go somewhere else to finish my studies, and that's what I did. Initially, my plans were to my plan was to study uh, kind of construction architecture, right? That was the idea, right? I wanted to be a kind of a buildings architecture, and I ended up being a solutions architect. It's not quite the same, but I still manage or get to build things, right? That's what I enjoy. So yeah, that was more or less the story, right? So I left Paraguay, finished high school, left Paraguay, lived in Madrid for a few years, uh, then moved to Ireland, right? I lived in Dublin for many years as well. That was probably one of the best experiences of my life. I learned so much there. I made so good friends, and then the pandemic hit. And we relocated to Spain, back to Spain again, where part of my family is living. I have family members living in Paraguay, but most of them are my mother and siblings are living in Madrid, so we are closer to them as well. So yeah, so that's more or less.
That's such a good story. How did you get involved with Dynamics? What was the very first project? How did it become something you became aware of? And then what's your journey being from, Microsoft business applications? What other Microsoft technologies, what other IT technologies do you cover? What's the journey been for you?
Well, I started. I finished my career, right? My studies. Sorry, studying computer science. And after that, I started as a developer. My first job was as a C++ developer. So I kind of started this world by typing code, and that was more or less what I did for the good first part of my career. And around 2011, right? I back in the day, I was already part of the Microsoft community and in Madrid, right? And I attended to several gatherings and sessions, about all sort of technologies around the Microsoft ecosystem, right? And back in 2011, when CRM 2011 was about to be launched, right? Marco Amoedo, another MVP, right? Kind of presented to the .NET community in Madrid about this new tool called CRM 2011, and that's when I saw it, and I thought, wow, this is impressive, right? Marco just did in 10 minutes what it would take me to do one day of work in the best case scenario, And I was this has potential, right? And this was a kind of the first contact for me. And after that, I wanted to learn a little bit more about it. So I kept kind of learning. And in my company, I told them, back in the day, I was working for a Microsoft partner, and I told them I want to kind of refocus my career and try to learn more about this. If there are any CRM projects that you can put me on, I will appreciate. And that's how I started basically. So that was 2011. Yeah.
That's so cool to hear somebody like Marco, being that kind of tipping point. And of course, yeah, he is a legend in the community and in Spain. And I so love that. I think that is, and I think what I like the most about it, it wasn't that you found it via Microsoft. right? You found it via the community. And one of the things that I love about our community, it is amazing, vibrant community where people, no matter how skilled or unskilled they are or where they are on their journey, they're invited in, they're treated well, they can engage and they can find their place. What led you to start your own company?
Well, it was a little bit of my previous experience in Ireland, right? I I kind of developed my career, and aside from all the technical stuff, I was a solution architect back then. I started kind of learning more about the process of managing a consultancy company, a partner, right? And I thought that was really interesting, being able to not only deliver a project anymore, right? When you're a consultant and you work for a customer, you are assigned a piece of work and you deliver that, and that's a great challenge in itself. But as was getting closer and closer to kind of the management side of things, I thought this is really really cool as well. Being able to put in place processes, not only for you but for other architects, and create something, that spans beyond yourself. That's to me that to me was really appealing, and I thought I think I can do this, right? I didn't know how difficult it was. It is really really harder than it seems. But being able to create a company, right? To create the culture of it from the ground up. That's really interesting, right? And after the pandemic, everybody, I think many people, right, were kind of trying to redefine their careers as well, trying to think what they wanted to do. And to me, that was the tipping point. I relocated to Spain, and I told myself, yeah, this is a good moment to try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I need to try it at least once and see how it goes.
So how many years have you been operating?
Since 2021. So this is we're gonna start the third year now.
And what type of work do you do? What do you typically focus more on Power Platform or more on a specific Dynamics product? Where's your area of focus? The 90-Day Mentoring Challenge is a comprehensive program to help you take your Microsoft business application career to the next level. Since 2018, more than 790 people from 67 countries have benefited from this program. I've heard from past participants that the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge helped them advance their careers, from switching jobs, starting companies, to gaining industry recognition like MVP Award or full-time employment at Microsoft. Enrollments are currently open for the next cohort, which starts on the 1st of January 2024. Find out more at ako.nz365guy.com. That's ako.nz365guy.com.
Well, so far in my career, I was more focused on Dynamics, right? As the Power Platform started to grow, more and more customers are trying to use this technology now, and to kind of leverage to use it with other systems, Dynamics, or even the finance, or whatever other systems they may have. And the ecosystem has grown so much as well. Like, it's getting so big nowadays. You have so many pieces that you can choose from and use them. So I initially started focusing more on Dynamics, then learning a lot about the Power Platform lately. And in Creativity Spark, what we are doing is trying to focus more on the Power Platform side of things. The type of businesses that that are our potential customers are more or less small companies, where they already know they want to use the Power Platform, and they need help, technical help, right? If they understand that Power Platform is a potential fit, or is a potential solution, for a problem they may have. So, and they're sure about this. Then they can help. They can get technical help from us, and we are focusing on technical aspects of it. You know yourself, consultancy is so big. You know, you have the business aspect when you need to go and understand the business problem. Power Platform or Dynamics may or may not be the right solution for them. That's another story, and that, you know, understanding that part is another process. But say someone, a company, really went through that process and needs technical help, developers and solution architects like myself. So here we are trying to help them solve their problems and build the apps they may need. Right. That's the idea, and it's interesting because the way Microsoft advertises the Power Platform is that everybody can be a citizen developer and anyone can build applications, and that's totally true. But the reality as well is that's only part of the reality, is that as the Power Platform becomes more and more powerful, right, you are able to do more stuff with it. But in order to do more complicated or more complex stuff, you really need to have a good understanding, technical understanding of the solutions and how to put the pieces together. And that's not always easy, and that's not always something that a citizen developer can do. And that's where we can help them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a powerful story, right? Is the idea that citizen developers can build solutions, I think, has been indexed on very heavily. But, you know, across my career, I've built some big solutions on that are very enterprise grade. And that's, of course, using model-driven experiences, which is back to really, you know, declarative development in Dynamics 365. I mean, sorry, they're the first party, but of course one of the things we always wanted, what we yearned for, was the ability to buy if you like, a headless platform. You know, get rid of the Dynamics piece, please. I'll build a solution on it. And the Power Platform was that answer. So it's amazing. And to see, you know, that true enterprise grade applications can be built far beyond just, you know, if you like, simple use cases that you often see in the Canvas app type landscape.
Yeah. And nowadays, everybody is kind of aware of, you know, the type of customizations that you can make and the types that you can't. But back in 2011, back when I started, right, it was all about trying to hack the platform in a way so you can get the most out of it, you know, getting these weird JavaScripts or weird plugins, trying to understand, you know, the API underneath, and trying to build kind of robust and as you said, enterprise grade applications with what CRM provided, right? And because back in the day, the kind of it was very, very limited what you could and what you couldn't do, and you kind of needed to hack everything. But nowadays it's getting easier and easier because everything is there for you to use, and everything is very well documented as well. Yeah, it's getting easier in a way, but you have more pieces in the puzzle, so you have to know. You need to know what you're doing. Yeah.
Yes, so true. I was talking to somebody earlier today about one of the solutions we built managed their roading infrastructure in WA or West Australia, and the geography of that roading structure was 11 times the size of the United Kingdom.
Wow.
And back then, you talked about hacking. Absolutely, right? We built that all on, I was saying, Dynamics 365 sales. It was nothing to do with sales, but it allowed us to build a mobile app on top of that using, do you remember the old Outlook connector? Right? So that was our mobility, you know, surface. It gave us SQLite underneath that allowed us to have offline. And, you know, we built it to run on ruggedized devices mounted inside, you know, roadwork trucks, and with full ArcGIS integration. And they could go along and they could just put a dot on the map, drag a circle and say, okay, that's a pothole. And it would automatically calculate the size, all the remediation based on the road surface, etc., create a work order, and when they came back and synced at the end of the day, their devices, it would hand that all into the system, or it signed it out to contractors. This is all before field service was available. But, we used to build those type of scaled solutions back in the day. And of course now, in that use case, you'd just go with field service, right? No brainer.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
But the beauty is you could really take the Power Platform and there'd be nothing stopping you building that solution directly on the Power Platform today.
And even before that, before the Outlook connector in 2011, if we still go back, I don't know if you remember CRM4, right? You had access, because all of that was on-prem. Back in the day, you had access to the ASPX files, the entire source code of the solution. So some people were even modifying those ASPX files to inject their own logic, or maybe
SQL injections,
pages, everything.
Naughty breaks. It was. I remember. You'd go. You're definitely not allowed to do it. As in, from
absolutely not. Yeah.
You will remove the ability to forward grade your solution if you did that. But yeah, that was amazing time. What excites you as we go to wrap up? What excites you about the horizon? What you see going forward? The opportunities in the market?
Well, many things, right? There are so many things to. It's kind of even difficult to focus nowadays, because there are so many new trends coming out. But I think the entire kind of software industry is changing a little bit towards this philosophy of the Power Platform, right, and the low code philosophy, right. I don't think. I mean, there's always going to be space for everybody, but I think more and more we're going to see more and more products like the Power Platform, where with a little bit of kind of a drag and drop UIs, you can build very, very powerful applications, right, from all different types, right. The kind of low code technology plus AI, I think that's going to be it. That combination is where we're going to be, seeing more and more in the future, right? With all of this large language models that they're kind of coming out now, right? Plus the ability to, with a few instructions or a few lines of instructions, you can end up building an app. The combination of both of them is going to be kind of the way we will be developing applications in the future. And it sounds incredibly difficult, right? But at the same time, it's something that 3, 4, 5 years ago we didn't know it was possible in a way, and now it's kind of starting to take shape. That part only, right? The fact that we are able to write down instructions and get an application out of it, that sounds like science fiction, but not anymore, right? Not anymore. So it seems possible now, and if that's the way we are going to build applications in the future years, right? That means that we are going to be way more productive at the same time, right? That's going to be kind of the bare minimum, where anyone with the right prompt can create an app very easily and very, very quickly, right? And that's the starting point. So imagine what things we can do with that. How many different things we can combine those applications and what can we create? It's kind of really interesting to try to see where we are moving towards, and that's the part that excites me the more. That opens up possibilities as well, like and in companies, there's so much that we can do in terms of training. That will be the first thing, because even though these technologies are going to be easier and easier to use, there's going to be there are going to be new challenges in terms of governance as well. Because if everybody, the problems that we already have nowadays, if everybody is able to to create applications easily, how you manage those applications, how you make sure that the data stays where it should be, all of the data protections and the security are in place. There will be so many challenges in that regard as well. And how you create those apps, in a way that are maintainable, that are secure, that can be extended easily, that are under control, essentially. So the way we build applications is already changing radically, but the old challenges will still be there, right? They're going to just be different, probably more complicated, and it's going to require from us to try to get our job done better, right? In better ways. You probably know this, but in training as well, think about the impact of AI, in training in the future years, right? So if you can now open ChatGPT and start asking about how do I create a plugin in Dynamics, right? And it shows you step by step how to do it. How long it's going to be until you ask the AI to give you a video, right? On how you do it, and it shows you step by step. So where does that leaves kind of trainers? Like, is it going to replace trainers, or is it going to give trainers more opportunities to create more efficient ways to train people? I don't know. It's really interesting to me. It's a fantastic kind of future that we are seeing now. We are experiencing already. So very exciting.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and want to be a supporter, check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again, and see you next time.